What's the most annoying thing about each MBTI type? Sure, we love our friends, family and colleagues, but let's be real. Each type has its own idiosyncratic traits that can drive you absolutely nuts. In this video, we'll be going over the behaviours, the tendencies and the things each MBTI type does that might leave you rolling your eyes or shaking your head. But remember, these are the things we love to hate about them, and they make the types all the more real and relatable. Let's dive right in. 1. ENTJ, the commander. ENTJs are driven, strategic, and have the ability to organise chaos into something productive. They are natural-born leaders who excel in guiding teams and achieving big goals. But here's the kicker. The most annoying thing about ENTJs is that they can be extremely controlling and dismissive of others' opinions. If you're not as efficient or decisive as they are, don't be surprised if they treat your input as irrelevant. They value efficiency above all, and if you're taking too long to make a decision or consider alternative approaches, an ENTJ might very well steamroll you. Why do they do this? Well, ENTJs tend to have a singular vision, and they believe their approach is the best. This often comes from their confidence in their abilities, but it can leave those around them feeling unheard and unappreciated. It's not that they don't care, they just value results more than relationships at times. 2. ENFJ, the protagonist. ENFJs are warm, empathetic and excellent at connecting with others. They thrive on making people feel seen and heard. However, the most annoying thing about ENFJs is that they can be overbearing in their desire to fix people. They deeply care about others, and while this is admirable, it can feel intrusive when they push too hard. Whether it's advising on personal matters or guiding how you should live your life, they often struggle to accept that not everyone wants or needs their input. Why does this happen? ENFJs have an innate drive to help others grow and thrive, but they sometimes fail to recognise when their assistance is unwanted. They can become so involved in others' emotional well-being that they forget to step back and allow people to make their own decisions, even if those decisions don't align with their ideals. 3. ESFJ, the Consul. ESFJs are warm, sociable, and incredibly attuned to the needs of others. They're all about creating harmony and ensuring that people are comfortable and happy. But the most annoying thing about them, their obsession with social approval and the right way of doing things. They are deeply concerned with what others think, and if they sense any sort of disapproval or disharmony, they may go to great lengths to fix it, even if it's not their problem to solve. Why does this happen? ESFJs are naturally empathetic, but their need to maintain social harmony and make sure everyone feels accepted often leads them to prioritise appearances over authenticity. They sometimes go to extremes in trying to please others, even at the cost of their own comfort. 4. ESTJ, the executive. ESTJs are practical, organised, and deeply committed to tradition. They live by rules and procedures, and they tend to be very reliable in managing people and tasks. But the most annoying thing about ESTJs is their inflexibility and tendency to dismiss any approach that isn't tried and true. They place immense value on authority and structure, and if you introduce new methods or ideas that deviate from their established way of doing things, prepare for some serious resistance. Why does this happen? ESTJs are deeply anchored in tradition because they believe in proven, dependable methods. They value results, and any deviation feels like a potential risk to them. This strong attachment to their ways can make them seem closed off to change, making it hard for others to bring in fresh perspectives. 5. ENTP, the debater. ENTPs are inventive, curious, and love challenging ideas. They're the intellectual risk-takers who excel in debate and enjoy poking holes in arguments. The most annoying thing about ENTPs, however, is their endless need to argue just for the sake of arguing. Whether it's a casual conversation or a deeply philosophical topic, they'll happily play devil's advocate, even if they don't fully believe in what they're saying. Why do they do this? ENTPs thrive on mental stimulation, and for them, challenging ideas is the best way to test their intellect and engage with others. Their constant need to debate can frustrate those around them, especially when all they want is a simple, no-drama conversation. 6. ENFP, the campaigner. ENFPs are spontaneous, creative, and full of life. They radiate positivity and inspire others with their passion. However, the most annoying thing about ENFPs is their scattered focus and inability to commit to long-term projects. ENFPs jump from idea to idea, often abandoning things midway as they get distracted by the next exciting possibility. Their enthusiasm can make them seem unpredictable, and this lack of follow-through can be frustrating to those who rely on them. Why does this happen? ENFPs are fueled by new ideas and inspiration, which means they often struggle with consistency. Their idealistic nature and desire to explore all possibilities make it difficult for them to stay focused on a single project or task, even when it's important to follow through. 7. ESFP, the entertainer. ESFPs are charismatic, spontaneous, and live for the moment. They thrive in social settings and know how to light up a room. The most annoying thing about ESFPs is their tendency to avoid serious topics and responsibility. They're all about enjoying the present and rarely want to get bogged down by the details of long-term planning or deep reflective conversations. If you want to discuss something serious or long-term, you may find them changing the subject or deflecting. Why does this happen? ESFPs live in the here and now, which means they're often too focused on the present moment to think about the future or reflect deeply on life's complexities. They prioritize fun and excitement, but this can sometimes come across as avoidance of anything heavy or burdensome. 8. ESTP, the entrepreneur. ESTPs are action-oriented, confident, and live life on the edge. They thrive on excitement and enjoy taking risks. The most annoying thing about ESTPs is their impulsive nature. They tend to jump into situations without fully considering the consequences, which can lead to problems down the line. Their do-first, think-later approach can leave others feeling unprepared or frustrated, especially when things don't go as planned. Why do they do this? ESTPs are driven by action and immediate results, which is why they often make snap decisions. They live for the rush of the moment, and while this can lead to great spontaneity and excitement, it can also make them come off as reckless or careless when things don't go as planned. 9. INTJ, the architect. INTJs are strategic, analytical, and intensely focused on their goals. They're deep thinkers who always seem to have a plan. The most annoying thing about INTJs, however, is their tendency to be dismissive of others who don't think logically or strategically. If someone doesn't approach a problem the way they do, INTJs may quickly become frustrated or even condescending. They can come across as aloof or uninterested in others' perspectives, making them difficult to engage with at times. Why do they do this? INTJs are incredibly self-assured in their abilities and intellectual prowess. They believe that logic and planning are the keys to success, and as a result, they sometimes overlook the value of emotions, intuition, and alternative methods of thinking. 10. INFJ, the advocate. INFJs are deep, empathetic, and often idealistic. They have a strong desire to understand others and make the world a better place. The most annoying thing about INFJs is their tendency to hold others to impossibly high standards, both for themselves and for others. They often have a clear vision of what's right and what's wrong, and when people don't live up to their ideals, INFJs can become frustrated or disillusioned. Why does this happen? INFJs are guided by a strong internal set of values and principles. They want to make a meaningful difference in the world, but this can sometimes lead to unrealistic expectations of themselves and those around them. When others don't meet these expectations, INFJs can become disappointed or withdrawn. 11. ISFJ, the defender. ISFJs are dependable, caring, and value tradition. They excel at making others feel safe and loved, but the most annoying thing about ISFJs is their tendency to avoid change and new ideas. They are deeply attached to routines and traditions, which can make them resistant to change, even when it's necessary. This can frustrate those who want to explore new possibilities or introduce fresh approaches. Why does this happen? ISFJs thrive on stability and security. They find comfort in familiar routines and ways of doing things, and anything that threatens that stability can feel overwhelming. Their resistance to change is often a protective mechanism, but it can make them seem inflexible or stuck in the past. 12. ISTJ, the Logistician. ISTJs are methodical, reliable, and extremely detail-oriented. They value structure and order, and they approach life with a sense of responsibility. The most annoying thing about ISTJs is their tendency to be rigid in their thinking and approach. They can be so focused on doing things the right way that they often dismiss other approaches or ideas that don't align with their tried and true methods. Why does this happen? ISTJs place a high value on tradition and responsibility. They believe in the importance of rules and order, which often leads to a very structured, no-nonsense approach to life. While this makes them dependable, it can also make them resistant to anything that doesn't fit neatly within their system. 13. INTP, the Thinker. INTPs are analytical, curious, and enjoy diving into complex problems. They're the deep thinkers who prefer to explore ideas from every angle. The most annoying thing about INTPs is their inability to make decisions or commit to anything. They're so caught up in exploring possibilities and analysing outcomes that they often freeze when it's time to take action. This can be frustrating for those around them, especially when decisions need to be made quickly. Why do they do this? INTPs are naturally drawn to complexity and possibilities, and they're constantly seeking to refine their understanding of the world. Their tendency to overthink and analyse everything can paralyse them when it comes time to make decisions. They can get stuck in an endless loop of what-ifs, which makes committing to a course of action difficult. 14. INFP, the Mediator. INFPs are idealists, deeply driven by their values and emotions. They strive for authenticity and want to make the world a better place. The most annoying thing about INFPs is their tendency to be overly idealistic and disconnected from reality. Their vision of how things should be can make it difficult for them to deal with the practicalities of life. They often struggle with making decisions or taking action because they're too focused on finding the perfect solution. Why does this happen? INFPs are guided by a strong inner moral compass and an idealistic vision of the world. They want to align their actions with their values, which can make them hesitant to act if they feel like the situation doesn't meet their ideals. Their pursuit of authenticity can sometimes lead them to overanalyze and get stuck in their own heads. 15. ISFP, the Adventurer. ISFPs are creative, spontaneous, and live for experiences. They are deeply connected to their senses and the present moment. The most annoying thing about ISFPs is their avoidance of responsibility and long-term commitments. They're so focused on living in the moment and following their inner impulses that they can often neglect important tasks or put off important decisions. This can leave others feeling like they're unreliable or flaky. Why does this happen? ISFPs prioritize freedom and personal expression above everything else. They don't like being tied down by expectations or obligations, and they prefer to live life on their own terms. While this makes them fun and adventurous, it can sometimes make them seem irresponsible or uninterested in long-term planning. 16. ISTP, the Virtuoso. ISTPs are independent, practical, and action-oriented. They excel at troubleshooting and figuring out how things work. The most annoying thing about ISTPs is their emotional detachment and avoidance of anything that feels like an emotional conversation. They prefer dealing with problems logically and practically, often shutting down when emotions come into play. Why does this happen? ISTPs are problem solvers at heart, and they prefer to deal with tangible, practical issues rather than abstract emotions. They don't naturally engage with feelings, and this can make them seem cold or uncaring to those who want more emotional connection. And that wraps up our exploration of the most annoying thing about each MBTI type. Remember, every personality type has its unique strengths and challenges, and even the things that frustrate us about others can make them who they are. If you resonated with any of these traits, or if you found yourself nodding along or even laughing, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more content that dives deep into the world of MBTI. Until next time, embrace your quirks, appreciate the differences in others, and remember, it's what makes us all unique that makes us worth understanding. Catch you in the next video.